Why is there a decimal in calcium's atomic mass and not just 40? So the answer lies in isotopes. Let's break it down. Isotopes are atoms of the same element with the same number of protons, the positive particles, but a different number of neutrons. That means they have different mass numbers. So, just a quick recap: the electrons are the negatively charged particles, the protons, the positively charged particles, and the neutrons, the neutral charged. So, the protons, if they are the same, that means the electrons are also going to be the same in a neutral atom. So, here we have an example of hydrogen that has three isotopes with the same number of protons and electrons. The electrons, I would say, is it teal or is it like darkish green? And then the protons is the light blue. You can see they are the same amount each time, but the neutrons, the purple ones, they differ. So chemically, they act the same, meaning if you burned either one of these hydrogen isotopes, the reaction would look identical. But physically, there would be slight differences, and nuclear properties would be very different for some isotopes. So, like their mass and their nuclear stability can make a big difference in how we use them in the science industry. We'll look later at some examples of how isotopes are used. So here we have two isotopes of carbon. See, the element symbol on the periodic table stands for carbon. So we can see the atomic number is 6, but the mass number, they differ. One is 12 and one is 13. So meaning they have a different amount of neutrons. So what numbers are the same in isotopes? Can you remember? If you said protons, the atomic number, you are correct. 6, do you see, of both these carbon isotopes is the same. So if the protons is the same number, that means they also have the same amount of electrons. So if we look at the symbol, what does that symbol stand for? The answer is actually on the screen. So if you said copper, you were correct. So copper has two isotopes. We need to compare the similarities, what they have in common, and the differences, how they differ from one another between these two isotopes in terms of protons, electrons, and neutrons. Mosh. Mosh, ik moet niet je post. Mama, get. What's up, it? Thing is on the button. No, that's one apple cookie. I'm dead. Ja. So there, if we work it out, electrons is 29. Electrons is 29 on both sides of the copper atoms. Both have 29 protons because it is the same number. both have 29 electrons, but then the difference lies in the amount of neutrons. So how do we calculate the amount of neutrons? We take the atomic mass number minus the atomic number. It would then be at the first copper, it would be 63 minus 29, which would give us 34. And at the second copper atom, it would be 65 minus 29, which would give us 36. So the differences would then be different number of neutrons. In copper 63 has 34 neutrons, and in copper 65 has 36 neutrons. That is 2 more neutrons. Let's recap what we learned. Isotopes is the same element with different neutrons. It has different mass numbers. And that's why the atomic masses on the periodic table are averages and not whole numbers. So it is written in decimals. So now that we know what isotopes are, we can now look at how useful they are in real life. So they can be used as like tiny trackers to help doctors diagnose some types of problems, help them to track tumors. Carbon 14 is a radioactive isotope. So scientists use that one to figure out how old ancient bones or fossils are. So archaeologists, they like to dig up the fossils and they can use carbon 14 to date them. It can also be used to sterilize food. It can also be used to sterilize food. What other uses of isotopes do you know? You can write in the comments. I think there's a lot more. So please like, comment, what are you struggling with? What video do you want to see next? Or what question or equation do you want to see next? And then I also put like a little freebie in the chat. It's kind of like a planner if you want to get a little bit more organized for your exams. And then there is also different types of freebies if you want to check them out. Link would be in the comments. Have a nice day.